How's it going, guys? This is Devin Caswell on YouTube here. Now today is a continuation of the series, Pursuing Your Identity in Christ. Now this is the fourth video of the series. The first three videos we talked about not letting the world identify you, seeing yourself as God sees you, and being set apart from the world. Now this is the fourth thing you need to understand in order to pursue your identity in Christ. And that is, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Now I have a verse for you guys, 1 Peter chapter 2:9. I also referenced this verse in the first video, but I kind of stuck to the first half of the verse. Now this time I'm sticking to the second half, and so the first half was just like, but you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. That was mainly my focus. Now I'm talking about that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of the darkness into his light. That's the second part of the verse, called out of the darkness into his light. So I have an analogy for you guys. Bats. Bats love the darkness. You know, it's their natural habitat. They live in caves where it's super dark, and it's comfortable for them to live in darkness. It's just how they live. You know, they're blind. They can't even see, so it's dark all the time. You know, and we don't really see them in daytime, and there's a couple reasons for that. One of them being that there's more vulnerable to predators. Here's the thing. It's easy and comfortable to live in the darkness like the rest of society. It's easy to live in the darkness and like everyone else in the sinful world that we live in and the sinful nature of society, but it's uncomfortable to step into God's will and to step into God's light and his plan for your life. But here's the thing, we must get comfortable being uncomfortable. Now I have another verse for you guys. It's John chapter 15 verse 19, and it says, if you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. God has chosen you out of the world, and that's why the world hates you. See, when you step into the light, just like how when bats fly during the daytime, they're more vulnerable to predators, when you step into God's light, you have a target on your back. And people hate you for pursuing God's plan and God's will and discovering who you are. And it's really the enemy behind all of it. And the enemy will utilize people like puppets on his string to try to take away any momentum you have in discovering who you are in God's will in your life. You're going to step on some toes. You're going to make some people unhappy when you start pursuing God. And I'm not saying that, you know, you're going to piss a bunch of people off. I'm just saying the more you discover God's will, the more the enemy's going to try to stop that. And he might utilize family. He might utilize friends. He might even utilize some crazy psycho ex-girlfriend from 3 years ago. I don't know. You know, he'll utilize anything to try to prevent you from discovering who you are. And that can be kind of scary. But we cannot let fear dominate our life. We must get comfortable being uncomfortable. Now, I have a story for you guys. I was in Little League football when I was about 9 years old. It was my first year. It was super fun. But I remember one of my first games, you know, in football, when you're running the ball, they teach you to lower your shoulder when you're about to get hit to prevent injury. And I was watching this guy run the ball, and he was about 8 or 9 years old, and he's running the ball. And instead of lowering his shoulder when these guys were coming at him to hit him, he cowered away and he got scared, and these guys just nailed him. They clobbered him. They hit him so hard. And he was paralyzed from his mid-back section down. Guys, fear will paralyze you if you let it. Whatever your fear might be, whether it's fear of potential, fear of full commitment, fear of stepping on people's toes, fear of the unknown, whatever it is, you cannot let fear dominate your life. Be courageous, be brave, be the person that God calls you to be. Because the truth is, if you give into fear, when God tells you to do something and you give into fear, you let the enemy win. And that's not good. So be brave, step out, get comfortable being uncomfortable. This is the fourth thing you need to know in order to understand, in order to pursue your identity in Christ. So again, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, Please subscribe. If you guys have any prayer requests, any comments, any suggestions, throw them down there. I'd love to interact with you guys. So thank you for your guys' time. God bless.